are you all? Thank you guys for being here. Happy Valentine's Day. I hope you guys have had at least a decent enough day. Let me say hello to you guys. And I just want to say we were going to have two guests tonight. So Bendy, Jen from the Ward Case Studies, as well as Lynn from Disorder in the Court. But Lynn, I think, is going to be on with us Friday instead. So that was just a little last minute change that happened right before. But anyways, how are you guys? Hey, Pointer Lover. Hey, Sprinkled Donut. Destination. Hello, MJ's Woofy. Chase. Tony. Hey, Lil Red. Kathy. Jay. Christina. Cutie Pie. Nana. Neat Noodle. West Virginia Jules. Wait, I think I already said hello to you, Christina. Debbie Doodles. Chase. I'll start to double up anyway. So hello again, even if I did. Grandma Cece. Mayla's mom. Hey, Jay. Hey, Laura Bean. Destined. Lil Red. Hey, Debbie. So did you guys watch today? Hey, Paris, Lorraine, Teacup, Kathy. We're going to go through everything that happened today. Hello, Thistle, or many things that happened today. Hey, thank you for being a member for 24 freaking months. That's crazy. 2 years. And I love you too. And thank you for everything. Thank you so much. Hey, Dave. Hey, Stephanie. Hippie Chick. Everybody coming in. Thank you guys for being here. Don't know where Bendy's at. She's not here yet. Yeah. But that's okay. Let me go ahead and pull up some things because we're going to start. Actually, I'm going to pull up this article. WMUR has been time stamping the day's events. And so I'm going to start there. We started with the witness who was on the stand yesterday, but then the next witness I want to get into, I have like a 6-minute little clip I pulled from Twitter. Hey, Katrina. Hey, Midwest Me Mom. So let me just pull this up really quickly. 1 second. Okay, so here is the article I was talking about, WMUR. They've got, time-stamped updates every day. So today, they start with, at 9 a.m., testimony resumes, and Katie Swango was back on the stand today. And she works, she's a criminologist who works with the New Hampshire State Police Forensic Laboratory. Today, by the way, it was many of the witnesses were, professionals. And this is in my notes for later, but I'll just mention it now. It was pretty comical because, like, before the court would say, we're going to rule this testimony as expert testimony, they would ask if, I almost called her Elaine, if Caroline Smith had any objections. That's the defense attorney. And she would say, we have no objections about you stating your opinion. Like, she kept saying that. And I heard Lynn point that out today. I watched all over the place today, you guys. I just wanted to support Lynn and Sleuth Mom. I was even in Grizzlies during the break because she was replaying part of the trial from earlier. Hey, Angie. You hear geese? Yes. Hey, Mama Bear. So we're going to start really with our conversation tonight with the next witness, Scott Riley. So this just says here, I'll just read to you what it says here, and then we're going to switch pages. Former juvenile detective Scott Riley, who still works part-time for the Manchester Police Department, testified about removing a ceiling tile from an apartment at Families in Transition, where the Montgomery family lived for a short time. He said that it was apparent from the odor that something had been decomposing there. Let's just come over here for just a second. So he processed this room at the Fit Shelter on June 4th of 2022. Here's another, just a screenshot I took right when he took the stand. But what we want to do is go over here to Twitter, and Court TV uploaded this 6-minute clip of part of his testimony. So he's going to testify about this ceiling at the Fit Shelter in this clip. So let me open it up and we're going to listen together.
When you arrived.
Yes.
And again, can you remind us why you were going there that day?
There was information developed in the investigation that there's a potential that the missing child was placed above the ceiling in this unit.
And was there an access point to that ceiling?
There was.
And do you see it in the image there?
I do. It's the vent at the top.
That vent?
That's correct.
Somebody on Twitter was saying that he reminded them of Robert De Niro, even the faces he was making, which now I can't unsee it.
There's a number next to that vent. Can you read that to the jurors?
Number 1.
When you arrived in that room, when you actually walked in, did you make any impression? Did you have any impressions?
I did.
Can you tell the jurors what those impressions were?
There was an odor. I could smell something. I didn't know what it was when I first entered the room, but I could tell there was an odor in the room.
Okay. Any other impressions, Detective?
I mean, it looked lived in. Kind of a normal residence, I guess.
Did you do anything with that vent while you were there?
I did.
What did you do with it?
I removed the vent. I pushed it up into the ceiling and moved it to the side.
Was there anything securing that vent when you moved it?
I don't believe there's anything securing the vent to the outside frame. The vent kind of just sits into the outside frame, but the vent was connected to some tubing up top by a zip tie.
Did you remove that zip tie at some point?
Yes, I did.
Claus.
After.
Hey, Delana.
What did you observe did you look into the opening that you created?
I did.
What did you observe when you?
As soon as I removed the cover, I knew I could smell what I know is decomposition. I knew I could smell a dead body.
So as soon as he removed the cover, he could smell this smell that he's familiar with, with what he does for a living. And another woman that we're going to hear in a moment, she said the same thing. Stephanie, I just adore you back, and I hope you had a fantastic Valentine's Day as well. Hey, Sarah Silva. Hey, Kalada Hope. Wonder where Bendy's at. Hey, Punksy. Okay, let's keep listening.
What I believe to be a dead body at the time, or it smelled like decomposition is the best way to describe it.
What is decomposition?
When a person dies, the body starts to degrade. I guess the best word. It's a smell that you just won't forget.
And can you just tell the jurors what your experience is with that smell?
I mean, many death scenes, many autopsies. I've smelled it many times.
Did you make any other observations when you looked into that vent?
I did.
And what were those?
I could see at first that there was, it looked like a stain right close to the edge of the vent. That correct? And I also noted that you can see the sheetrock dust. And I'm sorry if you can't hear me. It's hard to crank my neck around to see this. The sheetrock dust you could tell had been altered. Like you could see in the back, it's all fresh sheetrock dust, probably from when the place was constructed. And this over here appeared to have been something had been in that area.
Mr. Riley, if you don't.
So you can clearly see the staining on the ceiling here. And I grabbed a couple other pictures I'll show you from my folder once we get through this little video. Stephanie says, I had to step away for a minute today. Seeing the tile and hearing about the smell got to me. I'll never forget the smell after we found my great aunt. Really is a smell you don't forget. I'm so sorry, Stephanie. I'm sorry for you, for the memories it's bringing up for you and other people too. I've seen several people that haven't been able to watch the trial. They haven't even been able to watch our coverage. I've talked to people who this case is bringing up a lot of bad memories from their childhoods. Just, it's affecting people all over. And I'm so sorry for you guys for that. Okay.
Mind just standing up and actually pointing to that area of dusting that you're discussing?
Right here. You can see here, this is different. The composition is very different between the two. It was clear that something was here and not placed over in this area.
And the staining that you mentioned, where is that? If you could point it out on the screen.
I'm sorry, say that again.
You mentioned seeing staining.
Yes.
Where is that on the? At some point, did you attempt to measure what you were observing in that picture?
To the best, yes, I did.
And is that it?
It is.
About 16 inches across?
Approximately. It varied in size.
Let's talk about what you did next after you observed this area of interest. What did you do?
We, as a team, we obviously decided that we needed to take this. So we
Let me just pause for just a second to say hello to you, Stevie Grace. Happy Valentine's Day. And I'm so sorry that you're having a hard day, and anybody else who's also having a hard day without their loved ones. I see Bendy says, I'm here, StreamYard won't load. That sucks. You could try the StreamYard guest. And then Kathy says Claus is 5 months sober today, which I thought it was yesterday. But either way, that's freaking awesome, and congratulations to you. I know that with these subjects, it's hard to, look at things, anything in a positive light right this second. But honestly, it is such a blessing for all of us who are in recovery for another day. So, Claus, I'm super happy for you. Hey, Harlot. Okay.
cut it. We used just an old school sheetrock serrated knife, and I cut the sheetrock until I got to the metal studs, and then we had to use a reciprocating saw to cut the metal studs you can see in the picture.
Did you take any precautions while you were working on the ceiling?
When I was up in there, I had gloves on, but I didn't go up into the ceiling. You couldn't, because it would collapse. So I didn't really have, other than putting the measuring there, I didn't really have any direct involvement with like the stain. When I started cutting, we changed gloves every time we changed, like when we took the vent down, we changed gloves. When we started cutting, I changed gloves. But I was below the ceiling at this point. I was cutting from below. I wasn't up in the ceiling with it.
Were you wearing a hazmat suit that day, or
I was not.
How about a mask?
I was not.
What were your working conditions like while you were doing this?
It was hot.
It was hot.
It was hot. Yeah, it was very hot.
Sweating?
I was.
How long did it take? You said you removed a portion of the ceiling. How long did that take?
I would say the actual cutting was probably maybe an hour. The whole time we were up there was or dealing with that, maybe 3 hours. I don't recall the exact times, but it was within a couple hours, I think, probably, from the time we removed the vent till the time we actually took the ceiling down.
And so you mentioned actually taking the ceiling down. Is that what it looked like?
It is.
And again, that staining, did it become more apparent once you removed it from the dark area it was in?
It did, because of the lighting. It was...
And we know that that's Harmony's bodily fluids and some of her blood as well. I just can't imagine how this must affect these investigators, because think of how it affects us. It's just, I don't know. It's like you can just feel it in your gut. Hey, Ramblin' Rome. Riddler, thank you so much. Riddler said, roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and I love your channel too. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Thank you, Riddler. Nightbot's being lovey-dovey. What did it do? Oh, with the clauses thing. I was like, wait, is it doing something it's not supposed to do? There's Bendy. Hello?
Hey, I had to come in on my phone. I don't know what my laptop is doing. The internet won't, it's all messed up. I'm not even going to waste your time talking about it. It's driving me nuts. But I'm here. I'm so sorry I'm late, babe. You know I would never ditch you.
Oh, that's okay. No, I know. I was worried. I was like, Wolfie, will you go check on Bendy? Because I'm starting to get concerned because I just talked to you.
Send in the hound. Send in the wolf.
Hey, Pinche Becky. I have never taken a Lyft. I've never taken an Uber or anything like that. I live out in the country, so I am not the one to answer that one. Hey, Danielle. Good to see you.
I will tell you this. I took an Uber one time from Clearwater Beach back to my house. Okay. I was over with my sister-in-law, and the guy that was the Uber driver was terrible. And I actually got car sick. And then before I could even get the words out of my mouth, like I was trying to roll down the window and all the things. Well, he pulled over for me to throw up. And Amy, my sister-in-law, called me. Uber was messaging me because we had deterred. Which, I mean, I don't really know what good it would have done. Like if he was in the process of unaliving me, it would be too late, but at least they were trying to track me, I guess.
Wow, that's freaking crazy.
Yeah, but they
Yeah, I
do
don't
that.
know. Okay, so there you go. I guess stuff like that is somewhat common anyways.
Well, they did it because
Um,
of that girl in Georgia. Never hear that case?
no, I didn't.
So she
Claus, I'm
got
sorry, you
into
made me laugh over the Reese's.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, Bendy. Thank you, Claus, so much for the Valentine's Day super chat. I appreciate that so much. And the Reese's fix made me laugh. I interrupted Jen with my laugh. I'm sorry, Jen. I saw it.
No, that case in Georgia where the young girl, she was, I think, in her 20s. She had ordered an Uber. She thought she'd gotten an Uber, and she got into the vehicle and she was assaulted and unalived.
Wait, are you talking about the guy that he had the dreadlocks and it was like covered on Nancy Grace and stuff back then?
Yep. And then that's when it first started like making more security, making it safe. It doesn't just protect the driver, they were protecting their drivers, but they weren't thinking about, their passengers. So anyway.
Yeah. Lil Red says they're talking in the chat that they don't necessarily believe the narrative that's been put out there, like what all happened, that the punches, that it was just that, or maybe it was, people are just giving their opinions on that. And Lil Red, Melissa said the same thing when we talked on the phone about it, that if there are kids next to her, they're likely going to catch something from that. So
I mean, if you are facing forward, now I do not believe that Adam was a straight 10 and 2 driver, right? Both hands on the wheel and all that. But
yeah, no way.
You have to at least be looking at like a 45-degree angle, right? Where you can look with one eye out the windshield and one eye towards the back. But either way, your field of vision is going to be skewed. And I can't imagine, I don't know how accurate you would be.
Yeah. So what do you anything before I keep playing with this guy, guy's, it's like right at the last 10 seconds of the little video I was going to show, and then I took a few notes on his cross. But what were your thoughts like today in general? Anything?
Well, this was hard testimony because obviously, it's the physical evidence. I saw that the judge had a reaction when they were unwrapping the ceiling tiles, and she put her hand up to her nose, like up over her face, because yeah. So, and I think it was, sorry about my creepy chair. I think it is because, people were asking, I wonder if there's an odor, and yeah, I mean, it's a porous material and left alone, right? They're not touching it. They're not going to clean it or try to get the odor out, right? It will stay. It won't be as strong, but it will stay. And I don't know. It's just awful, just the way he treated her in life, and he gave her no dignity in death either. The piece of shit. Him and I got nothing for that puta either. There you go, Wolfie. I said it again.
Nate says, I still think Adam killed her. That doesn't mean I believe everything Kayla says, just my opinion. Well, I did grab some screenshots of like various opinions again, just to like kind of show people are all over with this. I think a lot of people were thinking that there would be more evidence than there was in the back seat. I don't know. That's just kind of what I gathered from.
I think what people are forgetting about is the length of time. And I cannot stress this enough. Never underestimate the willpower of a crackhead queen. I'm not lying. I'm not even trying to be funny, but that's the truth.
Yeah, but they didn't have time to clean it like that because the car broke down at the intersection and they lost it.
If it happened when they said it happened, they wouldn't have had time. Obviously, they had time because it was clean, or they would have found stuff.
Well, I mean, I think people thought there would be like blood and there wasn't. But I don't know. I don't necessarily think there would be blood, but that's just my opinion.
But here's the thing. Blue Star reacts to other things that are not blood, including urine. So if Harmony was having the accident that they say that she was having, the Blue Star would have reacted.
Well, I'm pretty sure, didn't he say that they use luminol and not Blue Star and it doesn't react to anything but hemoglobin? Or am I dreaming that? Because I swear I heard something like that. Thank you, love you.
Luminol reacts to urine. Look it up.
I swear there was testimony about the hemoglobin and how there would have to be, I don't know, I'll have to go back and find that exact part, but, and that they don't use Blue Star. I don't know, but
I know that both luminol and Blue Star react to both blood and urine. We were talking about it with the Idaho 4. That I remember very distinctly and it also makes it difficult when they use that. It can break down the DNA, so it makes it even so.
Well, yeah, but he did testify today that there shouldn't be any breakdown of that based on what they use. That there. I guess it's possible, but that there shouldn't be.
Interesting.
It says, let me see, unless sprayed with.
I just would think that there would be some blood in the vehicle. I don't think it would be, but the bottom line is people bleed all the time, and Adam had blood, according to Kayla, on his hand. So somebody bled somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mayla's, I'm looking at it right now. What I see says luminol is not specific to human blood. It is other substances, including bleach, can also cause the luminol to glow. Animal blood, but hold on, I haven't. Where are you finding that, Mayla's mom? Because I can't. Let me see. I know today they talked about specifically what they used. It would have to have hemoglobin to show up with some of the stuff they used. Like it wouldn't be other bodily fluids. But I'd have to go back to listen to exactly that part. Alex, you're right. I forget what he was referring to.
Now, there is a test that they can do that they can take swabs. And when they swab it and then they put the solution on the swab, it will test positive for only hemoglobin. It's a presumptive test. But that's different than spraying like a porous surface, like a car seat, like the back seat of a car. You know what I mean? Floors. Stuff like that. So we're talking about a different thing, I think.
No, but what I'm saying is they testified today that luminol would not pick it up unless it was blood. But I swear something like that. I'll have to find the clip, but like all I can find online is that it reacts to the hemoglobin. The basic idea of luminol is a light producing chemical reaction between several chemicals and hemoglobin. That's an oxygen carrying protein in the blood. But I don't see with anything else. But I wonder if Blue Star, because I do know that was like clarified that they didn't use Blue Star. They use like the old fashioned luminol or whatever. But anyways.
He did. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. I mean, I believe you. If that's what you say they testified to, then that's what they testified to.
Yeah, they definitely did. They said that, and he rambling is right. He listed off like different bodily fluids that hemoglobin wouldn't be in. But anyways, we got other things to look at too. So let me from this dude's testimony.
Okay.
So, I wonder what makes some of them use Blue Star and some use luminol, though. Is it just like a times thing? Like Blue Star is the newer thing, or?
I think it just depends on where they're at. I know for, well, no, I don't want to say anything I know for certain because I don't. I mean, it's not like I've never looked up crime scene stuff before. I just remember that luminol requires the use of a black light
Right.
to help you be able to see the glow.
Right, which wouldn't a black, like urine would show up on a black light without anything, I think, right? At least, or some bodily fluids would. I don't know. I need to do some more research. I'm not I'm not a forensic specialist or any of that kind of thing. More towards the Reese's, Alex. You're the sweetest. No, you guys are the sweetest. Thank you, Claus. Thank you so much. Now I got all kinds of Reese money in there. Thank you, guys. Because they said Blue Star will show a false positive with iron, which the car had loads of rust, but luminol will not. Okay, anyway, so then let's get into his cross really quickly, which let me go to my Facebook. And the guy that was talking about the luminol specifically is not this guy. I'll tell you which one that was. And when we get to him, but, and then they get into the cross and they talk about, she asked about when he spoke with Kayla, which was prior to her arrest. And what you call bootleg Elaine said at some point you gave her a chance to be alone and write down her thoughts. When you came back and looked at the note, it ended the interview, right? And he's like, yeah. And then they come back and on the redirect, they ask, why did the interview end with Kayla? She wanted an attorney, but the way that the defense was kind of making it seem like it was like there was more to it. You know what I mean? So they came on redirect and like clarified that. They also talked about a note found during the cell search. Let me see.
Yes, I noticed that bootleg Elaine was much more interested in Kayla than the other things that officer testified to.
Yeah. Oh, and yesterday, by the way, I realized this today when I saw this guy on it. This is the guy so yesterday I showed one of the witnesses pictures and I was like, this is the guy that worked at Dunkin' Donuts that was asked for the jumper cables in the middle of the night. It was actually this dude. So I stuck that in here just to clarify that because we can all be wrong and that's just that. And I was wrong. So, okay. Then they let me go back to our little sheet over here to make sense of my notes.
Okay,
so then we have Detective.
Looked up this luminol, babe, because it's been stuck in my crawl. But sorry,
luminol. What I'm looking up is that luminol doesn't show up for urine on this website. So I don't know what you mean. What do you mean?
Well, on Prezi.com, another disadvantage is that luminol sensitivity is not blood specific, which means that luminol does not just react with blood, but also other substances. Hold on, let me click more. But also other substances such as saliva, rust, animal proteins, and vegetable enzymes. And bleach. So I know that they can see a stain, okay, and they will take a swab of the stain, and then there is a solution that they will pour on top of, they'll put the swab in a little, like a test tube bottle and close it after they put the presumptive test. I cannot remember what that liquid is called, but they put it on the top of the swab, and then they close the swab inside of the test tube, and that specific test will react, and they call that a presumptive positive for blood. So then what they do is then they collect that spot or whatever, however they can do it. You know what I mean? And they will then do further testing to confirm the presence of blood. That's why, like, when they do the testimony, like when they see what they think are potential blood stains on clothes, they will do a presumptive test. But before they do that presumptive test, when they're testifying, they will call it a brown red stain.
Right.
That's how they note it in the
I know that.
paperwork. So I don't know why I was stuck on that, but I just wasn't. Now it's time to let it go. So let's
Well,
move
I'm gonna
forward.
I'm gonna clip exactly what I'm talking about, and I'll send it to you later. And then
Okay.
so then we'll be sure with that. And then Kathy mentioned a Castlemeyer test, which I can look up, but you have to give me just 1 second. Because he specifically said, they asked him, do you use Blue Star? He said, no, we use luminol. But let me look up that test.
And I think the difference in luminol and Blue Star when they use it is, I think it's dependent on the specific crime scene, and sometimes even just the police, the crime scene text. Some crime scenes text, what law enforcement use Blue Star, some use luminol, and some use both.
Oh my gosh, I did miss some, you guys. And I missed a gifted membership. Thank you, Teacup. And then Katrina, let's start a Reese's choo-choo train. Oh my gosh. And then Christmas trees, Reese's train from Music City, Mom, you guys. Katrina, thank you for telling me, because when I'm looking at another screen, I can't see the chat at all. So I totally missed those. I might have caught it in a few minutes. Like sometimes I'll catch it later because they save on StreamYard side. But thank you guys for all the Reese's. Thank you so much. That is freaking sweet. Okay. So then there's this test, which Kathy was referencing, which is a it is a form of a catalytic blood test, one of the two main classes of forensic tests commonly employed by crime labs. Which, like I said, I'm going to clip that, so we'll have an answer for sure either way. But okay, so now we're going to go to Manchester Police Detective Ray Lammy, which I spelled it definitely wrong in my notes. That's not what I wrote for his last name at first, but anyways.
Nobody got to know that day, but I appreciate your honesty.
Well, I think you might see it maybe when I click over in just a second. But yeah, so he is a lead detective in crime scene processing. He testified Wednesday that he processed the Audi the Montgomerys once stayed in. He also processed portions of a ceiling at an apartment at Families in Transition, where the Montgomerys stayed after Harmony passed away. And then this is how he looks. See, yeah, you will see it. See, I put Raymond Landing first, and then I corrected it after with
God love you.
But here's just like a little picture of him. But honestly, for me, the expert testimony is not necessarily the most interesting, right? Of course, it's very interesting to hear Kayla or Kayla's mom or, Courtney Garcia, friends of Adams, and to hear these people, or even Bodero, which I did grab that clip that we talked about yesterday, like in a second for us, of him where he's like, okay, I wanted to help you guys, that one. Okay. But it's interesting to hear those people, with some of these experts, it can almost like you don't understand it all. It's hard, but it's some of the most important evidence, so it's very important.
It's extremely important because it's going to establish that what happened in that attic, or not attic, but above the ceiling, could only have been Harmony. And that's important because they absolutely, based on what you sent me today, they absolutely have to establish that Harmony is no longer living. And because Kayla is a lying liar mouth who tells lies, it's good for them to have the forensic. I do, and I think that they established that today beyond any reasonable doubt. I
agree with that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I just think that for the jury, what it is going to come into is those witnesses. Not they listened. I do think they listened. I think they paid attention. And I think the state did exactly what it needed to do in establishing that that unequivocally Harmony Montgomery is no longer alive, which is very important. They have to establish that. Now it's going to be up to, and unfortunately without her, it's going to be very difficult for them to prove the cause of why she's no longer here, and then who did it. And that's where Kayla comes in. But Kayla has thrown such a monkey wrench, and unfortunately, I think what Elaine did was highly confusing to the jury. I was confused frequently with her questioning and Kayla's answering.
Yeah.
So I don't think that she caused reasonable doubt in that Adam didn't do it. I actually think what she unintentionally, I don't know, proved was that they both probably did it. That they had made a pact. That they both did it. And there was,
Yep, I completely agree. But what about this? Because even though the evidence does like corroborate some of her story, it also corroborates what he's already admitted to. You know what I mean? And
Right.
also they found her fingerprints up there too, right? Like, did I hear that wrong? Because I was replaying, or not replaying, I was listening at Lynn's at that point. But I'm pretty certain they found some of Kayla's prints up in the ceiling as well.
See, now I could have sworn, Allie, in that probable cause that we read together, that it was only Adams, and that it was only Adams on the return, the vent itself. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. It just, I mean,
they did not.
The only thing that I think that Kayla was telling the truth about is where Harmony was at specific points. You know what I mean? Like when they were at the fit shelter, when they were at her mother's. That is that part is, I know she was telling the truth because it's backed up by forensics. The rest of it, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I agree. They're saying no, they think it was all Adams, maybe some unknowns. I wish Lynn was here. She'll be here Friday, but I'm telling you, I think like maybe I'm just crazy, but she mentioned something about it even when she was ending her stream today about that. So I wonder if something came across the wrong way or what. But
I'll go back and listen to make sure.
And Ramblin says, I got confused and excited when I thought I heard that too, but others told me I misheard. Thank you guys. Thank you, Sheldon.
She asked, was it on cross that this happened? Is it possible that what we heard was maybe like a question about whether or not Kayla's? Because I know there were a couple of times that Elaine talked over the answer. And I was a little bit annoyed with her. Miss Smith.
To be honest, I don't think that I ever heard it straight from them. I just remember Lynn reiterating it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So Kayla's DNA was found on one part of it, but also the guy who did the sheetrock's DNA was also found, River says. Michelle says only Adam. Well, that's something that Gramblin says no, it was on direct, but she never mentioned it on cross. That's just another thing that we have to double check. It was on direct, River said.
Put it on the list. Put it
on the list.
Put it in our to-do pile, Allie. You know that thing is that pile is just climbing higher and higher every day.
Yeah, it is. We got quite the list. Christine says, why did Adam already plead guilty and still have a trial? How could they carry around a 5-year-old in a bag and not get caught? So he didn't plead guilty. And if I said that, then I misspoke. But I know that that's been like a common thing that's been misstated just because he conceded guilt at the beginning of the trial. Which just means he basically admitted it in their opening statements, and that kind of thing. But he didn't actually even plead guilty to those things. He just conceded.
No, because he hasn't even shown up to court.
Yeah, I'm really surprised about that as well. I really am. I don't know why I thought it was just going to be a thing in the beginning, but
yeah, I can't, honestly, I can't figure it out. I can't, you guys. This fool has me stumped, and believe you me, that might be a lot of the reason I'm coming out salty a little bit. And Allie, I hope you don't take that as directed at you, because I'm definitely not salty with you, and I apologize if I came in a little hot. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be all abrupt. He is really frustrating me. Trying to figure out what his game is has irked me to no end. And I am full of frustration and consternation at one Adam Montgomery, because I cannot figure out why he's doing this. It makes no sense to me. This is almost the worst thing that he could have done, is not show up continuously.
yeah, and even though they're told, like, don't have an opinion about, don't judge him for this or whatever, I don't know. They're human. These are humans,
Yeah.
it's going to be hard.
But also, the judge did not tell me not to judge him, and I am judging the F out of him because I can, and I'm trying to figure it out. I cannot understand what is going through his brain right now. I mean, I get that he's clearly not a good decision maker. He makes poor decisions, and I get that. But he sat through an entire weapons trial where this is worse than that, the accusations, right? But the stealing of the guns is part of the reason that he got that they were, bringing him in and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, this started the ball rolling more than anything, the weapons, him stealing those weapons.
Which I think people have to remember that, Jen, is that even if, he was to be found completely not guilty of this, which is not going to happen, but let's just say if it did,
right,
he's not getting out of jail.
No. He's not getting out of jail.
I'm determined to find that part of the trial where they talk about the luminol, and I have that YouTube comment search. Thing on my computer where I can search in the transcript. I don't think the transcripts are loaded yet, but once it is, I'll be able to find it pretty easily.
Okay.
With that little YouTube.
Because I definitely want to revisit that. The forensics are important. They are. But I think for the jury, I think they did exactly, the forensic testimony today did exactly what it was intended to do. But I think what it's really going to come down to for the jurors is this timeline.
Right.
And I'm real curious how the state is feeling about Kayla. If they're going to agree that she fulfilled her commitment in this trial. I think she fulfilled her commitment in the weapons trial, but I'm not so sure that she lived up to her obligation in this one. And I'm not so sure the state, see it her way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and once you read that, thing, if she even her testimony varied when it was with the defense, I feel like she could have almost broke those terms with that to a degree, because it varied. Did you see what I sent you from Lil Red? Remember we were talking about, do they need this? Right. Okay. This specific date. And she believes that, a manslaughter charge would be easier to prove because they may not need that specific date.
I think I need to look into this a little bit more, because if this charge is reminding me of Sarah Boone's charge. See, second-degree murder means something very specific. However, with Sarah, normally, if you get a second-degree murder charge, you can be eligible for parole. It is not an automatic life sentence. However, because of Sarah's, I think it's depraved indifference. It's the video. Her recording the suitcase video is what got her that depraved indifference. enhancer, which means that should she be found guilty of second-degree murder, she will she can be sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. And I think that is the enhancer to Adams is the assault from July. That's why they want.
Right.
That's why Adams' side wanted it severed. They wanted it to be two separate things, and the state was like, "No, no, that's our enhancer."
Right. That
Have
makes
to look
sense.
into it a little bit more. But Lil Red did some fantastic research, and now I understand that they can say on or about.
Right. That's interesting. And thank you so much for doing that, Lil Red. And also thank you again to you guys who sent the Reese trees. And I apologize that I missed that. I really do. But thank you guys so much. That was very sweet. Okay. Let's see. Because I have notes that line up with this, so I don't want to. Oh, I caught Dolly again. I'll show you that in a second. Yeah. Okay, so then we have this Rachel Radwich, and she also had a similar testimony. You know, she's experienced. She knows what decomposition smells like. You know, and I do remember her making that point, similar to what we just heard. But let me pull up their version on the timeline. Let's see. Currently on the stand is Rachel Radwich at around 1:30. They wrote this. She works in Manchester PD's evidence unit. Radwich testified about cutting sections of ceiling tile. She says those sections were sent down to these labs in Florida. Now, the way that I understood it was like, did these officers ride with this evidence down to Florida? Yes. Like that's what I thought.
Yes, they did, because they kept it intact. And so because it was such a large piece, there was really no way they couldn't put it on a plane, which is one way that it can be done. So they physically rented a vehicle and drove from New Hampshire to Deer Park, Florida. Which please don't ask me where that is, because I have no idea.
Is that where they make that water, the Deer Park water? I don't know. But.
I don't know. I don't know anything about Florida, really. I just live here. Now, if you ask me Texas, I could tell you, but I don't know anything about Florida.
Mama Knows Best, you and Broken Justice should come up one day and give your opinions. I know we still want to do open panels. Did you hear me, by the way? Lynn's coming Friday.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Broken Justice.
Yeah, we need to figure out how we're going to do it tomorrow, because I'm so excited to watch you and Melissa and Shay Benet and Jules of Thought. No. Is that right? No. Who is the other one?
That's
is it Jules of Thought? It's not.
I don't know.
It's not. It's
Jules of All Trades.
It's what?
Of All Trades.
Jules of All Trade. Yes, that's it. I'm sorry. My mind is not correct. I'm not right, y'all. Anyway, I'm super excited to hear you guys talk about Idaho 4 and that Paramount documentary. So we need to figure out how we're going to do the recap tomorrow.
Right. Okay. So, well, just let me know what time you want. I'm excited for that too. I can't wait. The next guy was this guy. He didn't speak English. There was a translator there. He's a drywall guy. It was very quick testimony. There wasn't a bunch to it. I don't think they did any amount of cross. And then that's when I caught Dolly, which you'll see right here.
Oh,
and then
hey,
you see him looking at the expert coming in, who this is the guy that I was talking about that does the, about the the stuff you're talking about.
Okay.
So
Dolly is freezing his whole hiney off, because where if I understand, I mean, I know the general vicinity of where he lives, it gets cold, but not like that.
He lives like pretty close to me, and it doesn't get cold. Like, it doesn't snow. He lives.
That's the okay. I thought he was more south than you, but okay. So then there you go.
He's north of me. But he's at Virginia Beach, so that's like as far south almost as you can go before you cross into North Carolina, where I'm at. I'm right on the coast too, right under him. Like,
that's that has
But
got to be miserable cold. There's no way I would make it. I'm not even gonna lie.
me neither. Or out in Idaho.
Hell no. Now I will tell you, I have some very adorable winter clothing. So even if I didn't make it, I would be dressed adorably. However, I would be miserable. I'd look great, but be miserable.
Yeah. I'd be miserable too. Okay, so his name is Kevin McMahon, and he worked in forensics for over 40 years. He's retired. So on the webpage it says, we're now hearing from Kevin McMahon. He's a retired criminologist for the New Hampshire State Police Forensic Lab. Specifically, he worked in the biology unit. McMahon says he tested several items for blood connected to this case. Items that came up negative for the presence of blood include a section of carpet from a car trunk, t-shirt, and a cooler. McMahon tells prosecutors he also tested 4 sections of a stained area of drywall. He says those 4 parts tested positive for the presence of blood. And then he was under cross-examination where he was asked about environmental factors and how that could impact testing. And then more experts, really. It's all experts. I do have some more clips, though. Let me go over to Court TV or to Twitter, I mean. Here, we're going to play this. I have to find that clip, though. Oh, my gosh. I just cannot wait to find that as soon as we get off of here to double check ourselves.
Okay.
But, okay, so I'm just going to play this. It's just like it's just an sort of an overview. But there's a couple clips from Court TV where they're talking about Valentine's Day, what it's like to be loved. You know, if Harmony ever felt true love, which is so sad to even think about. So I'm going to grab those 2. Well, I already grabbed them, but we're going to play those 2. But let me just
play that. You know, I got a comment today, and it actually gave me pause from our live last night. And one of the person who left the comment made the argument that if Adam didn't love Harmony, he would not have kept moving her body around and kept her body with him. Which just made me, it just gave me pause to think, you know, that is an interesting perspective.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
Highly disrespectful, right? All the things that he allegedly did. And I always took it as it had nothing to do with love. It was the fact that he was paranoid and he kept it near him because he didn't want her found. But I suppose it just gave me pause because that's a very interesting perspective. And I suppose that there might be, you know, a bit of truth to that.
That is so interesting.
You know?
Well, you know, people have opinions all over, and I've grabbed some of those, but also Crime Catalyst posted this earlier, and it just was interesting. She says, how was Harmony punched in the face 10 to 15 times, like Kayla said, in the backseat of their car when there was no blood? No blood in the back seat, no blood on the steering wheel where Adam was supposedly driving, stopping and continuously hitting her. But then yesterday she had posted this, I'm starting to not believe Kayla's story. And there are opinions all over, you know, I just find it, I think that's one of the most interesting parts about true crime, which interesting, you know, guys know that's my overused word. I was watching Lynn, she's like, I feel bad saying that this is like this is interesting. But sometimes there's just truly no other word. But it's one of the most fascinating things is how we all view it differently, and even the psychology of us watching and the psychology of the people who've either committed the crimes or the people directly around them.
Well, think about it. We kind of knew, right, what Kayla told the cops because it was in the probable cause and then also her proffer, and you read the proffer. So we knew what her words were, right?
Right.
It's very different reading somebody's words on, you know, on paper versus hearing them testify. And hearing her testify, even though for the most part the words were exactly the same, the story, she repeated it mostly the same, right? But seeing her and hearing her was completely different. It was a completely different experience, and it actually, to me, was worse.
I agree. It was completely different. Neat Noodle says, I felt some type of way when Kayla talked about Adam trying to wake Harmony up, saying, baby girl, wake up. So did I, Neat. That stood out to me immediately. And then I wanted to show you these couple comments. Let me see. Tess says, I've seen so many on Twitter saying there's reasonable doubt. It's wild. And then Mayla's mom said, Tess, I have reasonable doubt. It's very interesting.
Well, today when I was taking my shower, I had a thought about Kayla's story and this Pat situation, right? And I was thinking to myself, what if what actually happened to Harmony was that maybe they left fentanyl out and it got, she ate some. And that's really how she passed away. But but on some road off level, this story was concocted, because I think that if that were the case, that I don't think that Kayla would ever be allowed to have her boys or other children at all. And I'm wondering if this was some weird, because her story does not really, the way that she's told it, it doesn't really actually make a whole lot of sense. And so what if that maybe, what if that's their pact? What if that is what they came to the agreement on? You know what I mean? We'll whatever because I feel like this was blaming Adam doesn't make Kayla a great person, but it also doesn't get it doesn't get her children removed from her custody forever. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Well, you're not the first person I've seen say that. Mayla's mom has wondered that about her getting into something like that. Lisa, you see, I went back and pulled her comment. She typed that before you said it, right before I feel, or, not long before. So there's a lot of people who are wondering about that as well. Harlot says, if something like that happened, why make up this horrific story involving crazy things about it happening in a car with cops around, etc.? I feel like the story is crazy enough to be real. I don't know.
It just feels like, I don't know another way to say this, okay? But when you're, for lack of a better term, riding dirty, all right? You're holding, the last thing that you would want to do is to draw attention. And if somebody is driving a vehicle, obviously in the driver's seat, and swinging towards the back seat, that's going to get noticed. I mean, I can be the most absent-minded MFer on the planet sometimes, and really, there are times when I pay too much attention, and times I'm only on one extreme or the other. I either pay all the attention or none of the attention. And even in my most non-attention paying time, would have noticed that. I think that's one of the problems for, I think, a lot of people, is how nobody noticed any of this happening. Because he wasn't just punching, he was yelling. Nobody gets that mad and isn't screaming and yelling. And Kayla saying that the kids weren't crying makes no sense either.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. But
and maybe some of the truth is, maybe they really freaked out, because maybe Adam did try a life-saving measure on her and she ended up all bruised. Because if you don't do CPR correctly, and even sometimes when you do, you will end up bruised.
There's all kinds of possibilities, to be honest, if you really think about it. But
yeah.
No, Jameson is not Kayla's son. Jameson is Crystal's son. It's Harmony's brother from her real mom. And then Kayla, I believe, does have a son that was, from before Adam, and then the 3 kids with Adam.
Right. Anyway.
Okay, let me play this clip. I mean, I figured today we would just be going through like opinions. I mean, I was going to talk through like the witnesses, but it's all, expert testimony, which I'm not a damn expert. I'm not an expert in forensics or any of that stuff. So, it's hard for me to have too much to say about
it. Hard to argue science.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I think everybody should form their opinion about this case. And just because these are my thoughts, I don't expect anybody to adhere to what I think happened. But all I feel very comfortable and firm in saying is that Kayla's story, there's holes in it. It does not make sense. She's straight line or she's left a lot of it out because I can't reason it out. It doesn't make sense at all. The order of events that happened. It just doesn't, I don't know. It's just weird.
I agree with you. Okay, do you want to play this clip really quick? I was trying to respond in the chat to Katrina, which I love hearing your guys' opinions too, all of you in the chat, and of course yours, Jen. I don't really have my mind made up over what, if this didn't happen, what I believe happened in its place. Personally, where I'm at is I think that they're probably both. They were probably both physical with Harmony, and they should both have the same punishment. I understand that that's not a reality, especially because Kayla gave them the story and they didn't have much of anything else before. And then that was backed up by evidence of decomposition in the ceiling and different things like that. So, but I definitely know that it's just unfortunate that she's not paying the same consequences, but that's just where I'm at. Yeah. Okay. Let's play this. But I love hearing all of your guys' possibilities of what you think could have happened, because I think that, damn near anything is possible with this. Not anything, but there's a lot of possibilities. So, okay.
I think that
today and testimony in the Adam Montgomery.
Oh, go ahead.
I just was going to say, I think the only possibility is that Adam and Kayla didn't do something. I think that's it. That's the only possibility that it can't be. It's the only thing we can rule, that they were not involved.
Yeah, that it was some stranger or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Montgomery murder trial that centered mostly around the ceiling at the shelter where he lived.
There was an interview that was conducted and information was obtained that maybe that the child was placed in that apartment for a period of time.
You mentioned an interview being conducted. Was that with Kayla Montgomery?
It was. As soon as I removed the cover, I knew I could smell what I know is decomposition. I knew I could smell a dead body.
Today, testimony focused on the ceiling at the Fit family shelter where the family had to live after becoming homeless. What it looked like to investigators when they entered the room and how it smelled like death, according to them. Detectives detailed how they removed it and sent it to a crime lab for testing.
And each of the areas that I tested positive for blood.
And that key piece of evidence was brought into the courtroom today. Several members of the jury stood up and leaned over the railing just to get a better look. They listened closely to testimony about collection, the blood, and fingerprints found on the item.
A section of drywall with metal framing.
Were you able to identify the person that deposited that print?
Yes, I was.
And who was it that you identified?
Adam Montgomery.
And Adam Montgomery was not in court yet again today. He's given that option every morning and has since refused transport. He's also going to be given the option to be here or not at the courthouse during the reading of the verdict.
Okay, now I'm looking because the clip that I found of Bodero has been removed, but I'm hoping that I can find it right here on Court TV. Because it was such a good clip. Adam and old Caroline there. One second, you guys. I'm just looking for something that I had, but
Did you have it like in something that you watched on YouTube?
No, I had it like, if you look here, I just had like shared the tweet right here, and it's I just wrote Bodero clip. I want to help you guys. Let me copy that. But then when I put it in, it says hold on, I'll show you what it's saying. But it's just where he's like, I want to help you guys, and Caroline's like, who? And he's like, the prosecution, not you.
Oh.
Basically, I want to help you ever hurt that little girl.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
okay.
gone.
I was just
See,
thinking
when I
maybe.
put it in,
Oh
that's what it
no,
does.
yeah, I was thinking maybe if you'd have watched it on, if it had been on YouTube, you can just go to your history, but you probably already thought of that.
Yeah, I mean, I seen it on YouTube in full, but it's in like a very long video. It'd be hard to find.
Yeah,
That
just
way.
that one clip. I'm
Yeah,
shocked that
and
more
because,
people haven't clipped it actually.
I know it was a powerful moment. It really was. But I did have two more clips. Here, let me play this one. This is Julie's opening statement, but it's
love. What a blessing. Today is the day when we celebrate love. What a blessing it is to be able to say, I love you, and to hear those words back. It's a simple thing, but it means so much. And as I was thinking about today being Valentine's Day, I wondered if Harmony Montgomery ever heard those words from her parents before she died. I sure hope she got to feel love. But sadly, with her parents, I'm not so sure. She was bounced around from home to home, in and out of foster care, and into the custody of a man who seems more like a monster. I wonder what it felt like to be Harmony Montgomery, to have to endure beatings from her father, according to her stepmother, Kayla, to have to live in a car in the wintertime without a toilet to use, or a sink to wash her hands in, or brush her teeth in, with that little pink toothbrush that the police recovered. What must it have felt like to be Harmony Montgomery? To be only 5 years old, weighing only 35 pounds, and having her own father allegedly beat her to death. That beautiful angel deserved love. She deserved to feel love from her father, Adam, and from her stepmother, Kayla. But did she? Sadly, it seems there was far more abuse and mistreatment than love. Thankfully, I know for a fact there is one person who loved her dearly, her younger brother, Jameson.
Aww.
He loved her while she was alive, while they were in foster care together, and Jameson will love her forever. At least Harmony got to experience that love from her little brother. And let's all keep Jameson in our hearts as he goes through life without his beloved sister, Harmony.
Oh my God, how sad. And she did an exceptional interview with Jameson's, one of his dads. If you guys missed it, I shared it on my community tab. You definitely want to watch that. It was very touching. Sad, but I agree that thank God they had each other at least for a period in time, just sad. Let me see you guys. And then I just grabbed some people's opinions just to show you guys. They are remarkable men. Sorry, but I'm scared how the two brothers will come out of this. Super PTSD, drugs in there. Cray. I agree. I 100% agree with you. I worry about all three of Adam and Kayla's kids. Even if they get far away from this is part of all of their story, including Jameson's, for the rest of their lives. And that's just going to be tough. And they're going to go back and they're going to watch the trial and they're going to watch, everyone's testimony, and they're going to learn about the forensic evidence, or if they want to, they can easily do it. And that is just sad.
It is sad, but it does seem like, at least for Jameson, he has an incredible support system. And I think that although those kinds of what it probably is experiencing now, and what he experienced as a little kid. You know, he's still a little kid, but you know what I mean. Those kinds of events, they leave a mark on your soul, right? But
Hmm.
if you have a good support system around you, people who love you and people who care about you and people who are looking out for you, it can take it can take some of the burden away. You can't ever those kinds of events, I think, that mark your soul like that. Those can't be undone, but
Right.
you can. I think the human spirit is enduring, and I think that we can get past those kinds of things, and they don't leave, but you heal as much as you can. I worry, I think, a little bit more in a different way for Kayla's boys, and because of the fact that I worry for them, what kind of system do they have around them? Because if they are, and I worry for them. I just worry for them differently than I worry for Jameson. I still worry for all of them, just different with them. I have different worries for them, I should say, I guess.
I agree. Jen. It's sad.
It is sad.
So these are just opinions from Twitter, just random people. This person says, yes, Adam is a monster. He abused a corpse, and there is evidence of such. But so far, is there any proof other than self-serving Kayla that the BK assault/murder happened? Did anyone see Harmony during the days they lived in their car? Let me go to the next one. They're all over too. I grabbed some from opinions from all over, but
That is one thing about you, Allie, that you are really great about going all over in different, parts of the internet to grab opinions and stuff like that. You're really good about doing that.
well, thank you. I liked it. I'm like, I don't know, for me, even with I've told you before, but even with politics and stuff, I need to see all sides of it. I need to see, even if I completely disagree, I still want to watch and just hear that person out. Because if not, I just, you see so many people who will just watch one side of things, and they just I don't know. I just don't want to do that. I never want to be like that. So
Echo chambers are boring.
Well, my parents, they only watch one side of the news, and even when I tell them when I mention watching all over, my mom's like, why do you watch them? I'm like, because
you have to know. How else are you gonna hear? Look, that comment, what if I would have just been like, what? No, of course how could he love her? Look what he did. Right? But I think that there's something to be said there might be an element there. You know what I mean? I think it's important. I do commend you, Allie, and not just for looking, but for also going and getting this stuff and getting a good cross section of opinions and where people's heads are at, because there's 12 jurors, and if look at us in the chat, right? We have all kinds of different ideas, which is good. So certainly the 12 jurors probably do, right? So I think it's cool that you do that. I appreciate that about you.
Well, thank you. But yeah, she's definitely well, you're crazy. Why are you wasting your time? And I'm like, no, you need to watch everywhere. But Neat says, in my opinion, at this point, all they've proven is Kayla is a liar. Some of her statements are corroborated. Unless the defense can offer testimony that Kayla did it, I don't see the jury finding not guilty.
That's what I say. Don't worry, when people talk crazy, Allie, just remember what from Alice in Wonderland, what her dad told her when she said that when he said that she'd gone around the bend and that she was mad, and he told her that all the best people are, and that is true. Well, you crazy. You remember, all the best people are crazy.
I do love some Alice in Wonderland too. So, this person says, today in Adam's trial, we heard from a criminologist about finding Montgomery's fingerprints in the ceiling of the FIT where the Montgomerys lived for a few weeks. and gave fit living Kayla a free cakewalk. Lazy, weak prosecutor should have nightmares for the rest of his life. That's a pretty strong opinion there, prosecutor.
Why?
I don't know.
I have to have a question. When they testified, Allie, the guys that did, the detectives that went and got the went to the fit room, and they said it smelled like death. They went in July, right? Yes. That was months and months later. How many people lived in that room after Kayla and Adam?
Mm-hmm.
And how come nobody was like, bruh, what the, you know?
And it was July 2022. So,
Right.
yeah.
How did nobody in the interim be like, listen, now I know beggars can't be choosers, and I know that it's either this room or the streets. And I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth, but the smell. I mean, it isn't like decomp is not a smell that you can ever forget. When you smell it once, you will recognize it forever. And I don't understand how like nobody put two and two together where that room didn't smell when the Montgomerys stayed there prior to the Montgomerys. And then while they were there and after they were there, it smelled. Like, how did nobody connect those dots?
Well, I don't know. That's a good point. But, you know, there was a lot of complaints of the smell when they were there.
Yes. And that's another thing. I still can't figure out how they were able to, it just, none of it makes me, I can't wrap my brain around all of that.
Katrina says they probably did complain. I live in a shelter, and honestly, there's nobody to complain to.
I mean, I can understand there being there's all kinds of different smells, but that smell is a very distinct smell. It's unlike anything that you'll ever smell in your entire life. I promise you. And what I don't understand is how that's more than just like funk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's not your average odor. And I guess that's what I can't figure out, how nobody put two and two together when they even the smell and came in there.
Well, I know that maintenance said that they assumed it was an animal, which, by the way, that's the only kind of decomp I've ever smelled. But I do remember a couple times when like a mouse or something got stuck in the wall at my mom's house growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And it died, and like so I stayed downstairs, and it was like in one of the walls downstairs, and oh my god, it was awful. It was awful. And it lasted a long time.
Yeah.
Something to talk about. That is so sweet. She says, thank you so much, girls, for bringing this to us. We appreciate it so much. You just don't know how much. Thank you so much. Let me go get y'all's channel so I can drop it. Which
at the house that we lived in before this house, we had a shed in the backyard, but it was up. It was like it was on pallets or something. It was weird. But anyway, one time I went out in the backyard, and I mean, it hit me. It's like a slap in the face. And as I got closer to where the shed was, that's where it was at. And you know how you can poison mice and rats, but with those pellet things that make them leave wherever they're at to go to their water. Well, apparently this rat was a little bit too chunky and couldn't get out from underneath that shed, and he got stuck. It was awful. And even though, and I mean, it's like it doesn't go away. And that is animals. And animals, there's a difference. I mean, it's similar, but not quite the same. But it's still an odor it's similar enough, Allie, that if you'd have walked into that room, you would have been like, what the F? And you would have tried to find that smell. Right. Especially if it lingered for months and months and months and months and months. Like, I mean, it shouldn't, you know what I mean? An animal won't after a while.
Yeah. Mm. A million sparkles. Look what she said. I love having safe spaces to talk about things like this. And I'm so thankful for you, Alex, and the work case studies, and Lynn and Sleuth Mom. Well, thank you so much. And I'm so thankful for you guys, and also for Jen and Lynn and Sleuth Mom streaming it and stuff. So thank you guys. Okay, so we just have a couple more little opinions I wanted to show. Jennifer Coffindaffer, one of the most she's retired law enforcement. She also happens to get things inaccurate at times. So just keep that in mind. Not about this, but just like in the future with other things. You know, I've seen a few instances of that, which we're all human. I think it could happen to anybody. But anyways, she says, evidence is continuing to mount against Adam. Each item Kayla spoke about in detail is being corroborated, including information about the cooler where he stored Harmony's body and fingerprints near the vent where he also stashed her. Can you believe what he did? And she goes on to say, I'm just happy that Harmony's at peace on Valentine's Day. But I couldn't get that in the screenshot, so. Yeah, and then I think I grabbed a few more opinions. Yes, and then also here's the Chrysler.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Here, I'll go back to it for a second. Taken all the way apart, and then we. Mm-hmm. Dino Dude says, Montgomery trial, boring, boring, boring. Is the jury still awake? Come on, folks, so we know it's Adam Montgomery, for heaven's sake. I'm like, what? That just shocked me. I'm sorry, but whatever.
There's always a part in trials where it's like, okay, Alec Murdaugh, perfect example. When they got to the forensics with the phones and everything, some of it was more interesting than other parts. I mean, that's just how it goes. You know, it's not a TV show, for Pete's sake.
I didn't watch his, but in other ones I've seen, I always get, like, it's always a little boring with the expert testimony because it has to be, you know, extremely detailed and thorough. And if you're not educated in these things, you just simply can't grasp it like they can. So it's just, you know, the expert testimony, it can also not be boring, but there are parts of it that are going to be hard for your average person to sit through.
Right. I mean, it's tedious, and especially when it's all like every single one of them has to go up there and give their CV, and that part's a little like, okay. Like, especially with some of the experts, not so much in this trial, but in other trials, where their CV is like super long, and we get in, we're like, they're on their like 87th item, and we're like, okay, we get it. You're a fucking genius. You're an expert. Let's ask them the questions. That's for me anyway. You know, that part gets a little tedious for me.
Yeah, I agree. Or like just going over the different things multiple times and stuff like that. It's just part of it. But Organic Reality says Attorney Smith must have been next up on the available attorney list. She's a bit long-winded and can easily confuse many watching. She has a tough job regarding Adam. And then they also say the state will certainly mention Adam's absence during closing arguments. I could agree with that. I think they'll mention it. Oh, well, if the jury's not allowed to make a decision on it, I mean, I guess they could, but where they're not allowed to judge on it, I wouldn't be surprised if they did. However, otherwise, I would think that they would. A lot of people are very disturbed by that.
I mean, I have seen closing arguments where the state will say something like, look at this defendant, he won't look at you, he won't make eye contact, something like that. But I don't know, if the judge has told the jury that they're not allowed to that it is his right to either be there or not be there, and they cannot make any determination based on his presence or lack of presence, I kind of don't think that the state would be allowed to mention it, but I'm not 100% on that. Obviously, I'm not an attorney. It's interesting, though. I mean, I feel like you said, Allie, you're right. I think it's human nature to speculate and wonder, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but where the jury can't like bring that into their I feel like if they did bring it up, there would be an objection anyways, because they're not supposed to make a judgment about it.
Right.
But
But let me say this, they're human. So it doesn't, like, they can't talk about it in the jury room, right? Like, it can't be part of their deliberations. But it doesn't mean that it isn't somewhere lingering in the back of their mind. You know, the individual just doesn't
yeah,
come out. You know what I mean?
subconsciously or something. Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree with that. How do you make it not? At least at least somewhat, a little bit.
I wonder if any of them will talk after the trial is over.
I hope so. I love to hear from the jurors after
Me
a
too.
trial. I don't know.
Too. I hope they do. I hope they, if nothing else, I'd like to know what they made of Adam not being there. Or when he was there and glaring at people.
Yeah, glaring and looking them up and down. Not every case is like what plays out on TV or a movie screen. This is a defendant's real life and the rest of the life of someone accused. It can't be a thriller movie. There you go, clicker. That's just the truth.
Right.
It's not like CSI or, that kind
Right.
of thing.
Every time you say something like that, it makes me think of that Family Guy. Not after CSI, not after breakfast, now. Like, I just always think that.
Yeah. Hey, Amber. Okay, so I think we're just about to wrap it up. So this person says this drug addict child beating murder left all of his markings, so prosecutors could clearly say, Adam, you killed your daughter because you're evil. So see, opinions all over with that. And then Rose, these are not really opinions. I just grabbed these because she's one of the reporters that's reporting on it, but she also was the one that put out that picture of Adam and Kayla and Harmony. Tess actually grabbed it for us yesterday, I think, but this is the only one I wanted to read. She says, side note, I have not one clue how Caroline can sit there and defend Adam in any way. She knows damn well that man should never walk out of prison, in my opinion. I would find it difficult to sleep at night, although I know someone has to do it.
I can't imagine. That's got to be hard. I think that I actually think the hardest person to represent for a defense attorney is an innocent person. That's the most daunting one. But then you have these cases, the Letitias, the Adam Montgomerys, the Susan Smiths, the Lori Daybells, excuse me. Those are hard to, and people feel like I mean, it's not her. It's not like she's being paid to do this by Adam. She wasn't. See, that's different. As a private attorney, you can say, nope, I'm going to pass. I don't want to represent you. You can do that. But when you are, either directly working in the public defendant's office or you're part of it, you can't say no. I mean, you can, but you have to get up in front of a judge and you have to say why you can't do it. And saying because this motherfucker is a monster is not a viable excuse.
Right. Well, I don't know. I think that it probably affects them more than we realize, even her, unless she truly believes like that. Maybe she believes, a lot of people believe that it wasn't just Adam or that Kayla played a bigger role, and maybe she does. But if we look back to that anonymous thing from Tellini, and how hard it was to defend Letitia, but you could never tell in the courtroom, right? Because
no, he did a fantastic. Well, look at how much look at what a rash of shit they got for giggling. Remember?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tisha and old Will Cook got pretty cozy there for a minute, and then, oh my God, they were all sharing the drink, all three of them, or at least the two men. I don't know. It's at one point I was like, are they all drinking out of it?
I remember that.
ATS says, did you see
that ATS? Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it. I haven't seen it yet. I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, all of Adam's women. And there's actually a picture of Kayla where she's not, it's not the pictures that we're used to seeing of her. So
Yeah. And I'm sorry, but that picture, she just looks like, I don't know. Hold on. Let me just pull this off for a minute. I'm going to pull it up to end with that. She looks so different. They all look so different. They look so much healthier. It's pretty wild. Oh, I don't have the actual photo in here. I do have it, but it's in this thumbnail I made. So here, I'll just show it like this, but it's probably blurry because the internet. But look at Harmony.
oh, her little glasses.
I know. And just the little face she's making, it just reminds me of like little kids. They're so cute. And like sometimes, like when they're uncomfortable in ways, like it's very hard. You see it. Like they don't have a poker face.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's the thing about kids. They're super honest, you know. They're just, when they don't like you, you know.
Yeah, agree. They definitely tell you if
When
they don't
do
like you.
you, you know.
Nay is okay, Michelle. She's just been busy, but I still talk to her as often as I can. And she was in here the other day. I can't wait for her to be unbusy and back with us all the time, but she's okay. But yeah, I'm sure that she will love that you guys even care and ask about her. It's sweet. I know, Aries girl, it hurts my heart too. It just hurts my gut too, honestly. It just, the feeling in your stomach, I don't know.
It's just sad that her life was so short, right? And filled with hardly any joy, particularly in her last moment.
That is freaking sad. Yeah, it is so sad. If you guys missed that little video I did, it's under the lives tab. However, it was a pre-recorded video. It just was streamed live through StreamYard. So I even made a cut in it at the very beginning because I started the intro like too late. So, and it was pretty easy to do through StreamYard, and then used that and uploaded it through streamed it live. So it looks like it's a live stream under the lives tab. However, it's just a quick video of like 20 minutes, and it's reading through the paperwork of her deal and the details behind that, or the agreement that she had with the state. So, but anyways,
yeah.
Thank you, Bindi. No, she hasn't put out the documentary yet. Lil Red said, "Did I miss it? What do you have? Tell us about that before we go. And what do you have?"
I don't even want to talk about it anymore, you guys. I'm frustrated, and I'm stuck at a point because I can't get it to work. Just this one part that I'm trying to get to work, and I'm just having a little technical difficulties. It's a Jen thing. Sometimes, I gotta go through it, and I don't know. Minnie Bendy went to the doctor yesterday, and I'm a little bit worried about her, and so I'm just a little bit off. So I'm sorry, you guys.
I hope she's okay.
I hope so too.
Well, I can tell you guys this. Bendy was working on it like within the last couple of days, all day, doing the narration and stuff. So it'll be coming soon. What's going on with her though, Jen? Sorry.
She went to the doctor. She's got she had an ear infection and got antibiotics for it. And she still isn't feeling quite right. And one of her lymph nodes in her neck, I mean, I saw it today when I was on the phone with her. It's really swollen, and I'm worried about her. They referred her out. They gave her a referral. They want to do like an ultrasound on it, but it's just worried. I'm just worried for her. That's all.
I get that. I know how it is as a mom. It's just scary when our kids are sick. Even, when we just don't know, especially when you're in that phase of not knowing what's going on exactly. You fell off for a second and came back naked, Jen. Naked.
Are you naked? I can see you.
No.
You're not looking naked to me.
No, yours, like you fell off for like a half a second and then it popped right back up. And it was naked, yeah. We're getting ready to end it anyways.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but I know that tomorrow we have that live on Melissa's tomorrow night that I'll be on. But whatever time you want to do the recap or whatever, just let me know and we'll try to make it.
All right. Well, I don't want to that's a lot, you know, for you to have to do that. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe
I don't
we'll
think it's look, for me, if I'm not running the panel, it takes so much stress off that I can pretty easily give my thoughts, right? But like
Yeah.
running the panel, watching the chat, and like show the screen share and all that stuff is a little more difficult. But both, you know, both labs tomorrow, I wouldn't be the one running it. So I mean, it's up to you. I think I can do it if you
All
want to
right.
do it. And then,
I don't want to, like, you know, I don't want to put pressure on anybody.
well, you ain't putting pressure on me. But thank you. Lil Red said it's the new phone Who Dis picture. Oh, thank you, Claus.
Lord.
Yeah, Bentley's still sick. You know, he after that, oh my gosh. After last night, he, you know, woke up in the middle of the night throwing up. Then today at school, he had a little incident where he had to go to the bathroom a few times at school, which he's not comfortable with at all. And it just the whole thing. So
Bless his
I know.
heart. Bentley, this is why Bentley and I are friends. Because I'm not a public partier either. I mean, tinkle is one thing, but no, I don't do
Yeah.
that in public ever. Like, it has to be an emergency. I think I can count on one hand how many times that's happened to me in public. And I understand Bentley in that, not wanting to. I don't blame him, bless his little heart.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't either, especially in school and that kind of thing. Lil Red, he is taking probiotics, but I think that they will probably, you know, I know that every day when he gets those antibiotics, it wipes out all that good bacteria that he's getting from them. So those antibiotics will be done in a day or two. They are not in the classroom though, Michelle, but I told him that today. When I was in kindergarten, our bathrooms were in the classroom.
No, you know what I was thinking about? I went to a private kindergarten. So I think our bathroom was in the classroom. But I know when I went to first grade in Arizona, Tucson, where I grew up, like the doors to the school or to the classrooms are actually outside, if that makes sense. There's like, I mean, there's the inside, like you walk through the main door of the school, and then there's like a court, and out off of the courtyard where all of the classes or, you know, all the classrooms and stuff. And so, you know, and then the hall, and in that inside of that courtyard were the bathrooms too. I don't know how to explain it.
No, I get what you're saying because that's how my kid's school is. And trust and believe we did not have outdoor like schools like that in West Virginia. I am not used to it, but yeah, the kids, like, there are outdoor hallways, there's a courtyard, like it's just like what you're saying, like it's like the movies. I don't know, I never had seen that before. But it's really
Tucson. Look it up. Look up DeGrazia Elementary. That's where I went to school in Tucson when I was a kid.
Wait, what's it called?
I went to DeGrazia Elementary School.
Like Degrassi?
No, DeGrazia, like the artist. Yeah, I went to a whole ass made up school that was based on a TV show.
No, my grandma and grandpa lived in Tucson for a long time. Oh, I see it. DeGrazia Elementary School. Yes. And I can see the outdoor. If it would freaking load, we can all see the little outdoor thing. Well, not on that.
When I went there, the playground seemed so huge, like when I was a kid. And I went back home. I can't remember how old I was when I saw it again. I mean, I know I was an adult with kiddos. And I looked back at it, we went by it, and I was like, to my sister, I said, Jules, remember how big the playground was, right? And we get there and we look at it, and it's just a normal sized playground. But I remember being a kid thinking it was so huge.
Yeah, that's funny. And then you see it, and it's all tiny.
It looks exactly the same. That's exactly how I remember it, those colors.
Oh, Thistle, I'm so sorry about your son too. I hope that he gets to feeling better, and everybody, you know, who's not feeling well. Anybody who, hey, Valentine's Day is tough on people who have lost their spouse and things like that, you guys. If that's you today, or, you know, I'm just so sorry. And I'm just so sorry for all the tough stuff that these cases bring up, because I know that it does do that to you guys. And thank you guys. Thank you to my mods. Thank you to the chat. Thank you to my Bendy. I just appreciate you guys so much. And also, oh, something to talk about. You've been a member for 23 months. Thank you for being here that long. And thank you also again for the super chat. Papa freaking Elvis Claus. I said your name all wrong that time. Thank you again. Thank you, Music City Mom, Katrina, Teacup. That was so sweet. Pointer Lover. Again, freaking Papa Elvis Claus. There we go. Sexy Wild Thing, Carol freaking Papa Elvis Claus, the longest name in history. Riddler, and then Pointer Lover. Thank all you guys again. Yeah, and I hope you guys have a great night. Bendy, you got anything before we say bye?
Oh, but thanks you guys for putting up with me, even though I was in a weird headspace tonight. I appreciate it. You guys are patient with me. I would have already left. I would have been like, oh God, Jen Lou's on her things again. I got to go.
I would have already left. Thank you, Landry. That was sweet. Thank you for the gifted membership. All right, you guys. Thank you to the mods again and all of you guys in the chat. I hope you guys have a great night, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, also, the last thing I'll say, if I was wrong about like at the beginning with the either way, I'm wrong sometimes. Honestly, I'm wrong a lot of times. I'm not more than sometimes, but regardless, if I am, I'll definitely let you guys, like, I'll correct it tomorrow once I like double check all of that, and then or what next time that we go live over here or whenever. But I'll definitely keep you guys posted on that. Okay. All right, you guys have a bye. Wait, also, I know. Okay, have a good night. Bye.
Bye, guys.
I'll sit here and say bye forever, Jen. You know it.
Me
So.
too. I'm the worst. Bye.
Bye.